Welcome, everyone. It's good to reconnect with you all. I'm here in Point Dume near Zuma Beach on a gorgeous February day after some cleansing rains this week. You may be able to hear some of the background sounds of the ocean. There may be some wind that comes through as well, so we'll just invite in those elements as we journey together. It's quite divine to be here. The last time that I came to this sacred space was in our last journey, one of our last journeys in the fall. And everything was brown. And as I look around me, all the brown has subsided to this rich, vibrant green and yellow wildflowers and green, lush brush giving birth on these cliffs and all along the pathways. Such a sign of the transformative power of the earth. Death, pretty evident, and new life just bursting through. Such a testament of the journey of life and the path as we walk our own individual journeys and experience those little deaths. Clarissa Estes Pincole describes it as the petit mort, the small deaths, and the grand mort, the large deaths, that we all experience on our journey, but we may not necessarily talk about. Sometimes in the spiritual world and in this new time, we have this ideology of this illumined state that is void of death. The reality is that there is no death to the spirit world. It's always just new form. But on the human plane and on this planet, it's a constant cycle of death and rebirth on the physical, on the emotional, and on the spiritual level. The key is to have venues and spaces and periods where we're able to be supported, or we're supporting ourselves through these cycles and honoring these little deaths in order to allow for the great births and the rebirths and the transformations. We are in the season of this transformative power. We were on the trails in Pacific Palisades this past week as well, and you could see the wildflowers emerging and the new brush coming out of dead brush, the ivy that was completely destroyed from the heat of the summer, with new growths of green emerging. It's quite spectacular to witness and to view, and if we could have that same awe with ourselves, if we can have that same admiration at our own journey, our own process, if we can honor those periods of death when projects or parts of ourselves are going through a period of decay, and we can hold the space for that. That's one of the beautiful things of this time. This is the time of the integration of the feminine with the masculine. So it's the time of caring, of nurturing, of deep compassion, of kindness, of gentleness. So if we can bring that gentleness and kindness to ourselves during those times of change, of falling out, of transformation, of maybe recognizing and seeing parts of ourselves that we don't like so much, and really holding that part of us as it transforms, as it transmutes. Because truly, when we just allow, you see, when we allow it to be that, when we allow the darkness, if you will, when we allow the depression, the grief, the suffering, then it so easily and quickly transforms. I mean, what if I were to walk to that, dead ivy and say, you can't be dead. You're not allowed to be dead. You need to be green. Well, what is that really going to do? So when we can really just honor and allow, then we really open up the fertile ground for newness to emerge, and we allow the passing to occur. It's all energy. It just allows the energy to pass as new energy comes forth. But when we resist, then it persists. This is true for ourselves, and of course it's true for others. Sometimes it's easier than other times to be patient with ourselves, and sometimes it's easier to be patient with others and not for ourselves. So it's a little dance that we go through. But one of the beauties that we have is we have nature all around us, right? This is really where God, Goddess, Spirit, Source best expresses itself. It is the church, in my eyes, of the divine. So, it's a wonderful opportunity for us to go to our temples of nature and be reminded about this process and this cycle. And it gives us new energy to bring back to our daily lives and growth times and challenges. One of the beautiful things about being present and aware about the cycles of nature is we then get fueled and have new energy and more capacity to allow the new birth to emerge. So this is fertile time. We've planted the seeds in the winter. In the depth of the winter, we planted the seeds, intentions, visions for this new time, this new year. This is the time to begin to tend to the soil and remove some of the weeds and allow those seeds to begin to sprout. And some of those weeds are our judgments, our intolerance, our unwillingness to be, to rest, to be patient, to be kind, to be loving with those toughest parts of ourselves or others or situation in life. And it's also a time to water. It's a time to, drink in the spring rain. And so taking ourselves to places, whether that be nature for you or other places where those seeds can begin to get nourished. We may need to put a little fertilizer, fertilize the soil as the spring rains come in. So that may mean going to different resources and sources. The reality is we're never alone. Though we may feel alone on our path, and that's completely normal. There are certain stages and times and situations that we walk through that require periods of aloneness, but aloneness is all oneness, one with all parts of ourselves and the divine. And we can ask for guidance to those people, places, situations to fertilize our soil, to allow those new buds to emerge. And I just want to take some time to speak to those places of unfulfilled desires or deep pains of maybe intentions and visions we've set in the past that haven't fulfilled, and we feel quite a bit of heart or soul ache around. And related to this topic of gentleness and kindness, I believe it's essential that we honor and nurture those parts of us that feel unfulfilled, rather than pushing it away or doing as much as we can do to numb it away or addicting. And that's truly where addictions emerge from, is from the inability to be in the process of pain, of grief, of anger, frustration. So I just want to invite you to maybe journal as we move into the spring, and as you open up your heart again in these new visions and intentions, to journal and write down those places where you feel things have not necessarily gone the way that you've wanted them to go. And list those things out. And then on the other side of that column, I want you to write out the gifts that have come from those unfulfilled desires. And when you write, try to bypass your mind and just allow the instant feeling or idea to be written on the paper. And in so doing, we are, in fact, honoring those feelings and those unfulfilled desires and removing the judgment and the sense of failure and the suffering around it, and illuminating that those very things that have not been fulfilled have brought us gifts. Some of those gifts can be unseen. They can be a sense of courage, a deep strength, a sense of compassion for others and understanding. Maybe opening into a different venue or pathway that would not have opened otherwise. And then just give yourself the opportunity to rest and place one hand over your heart and one hand over your belly, and just feel into that awareness. And allow any sense of rush or sense of failure, sense of having to fix it or get it done, let it just fall off. And let that bloom emerge of freedom. And should any grief arise, or tears of joy or sorrow, allow it. And remember that those tears are your spring showers that nourish your soil. That is the richness of honoring every apparent death and every real death, and seeing it through its cycle versus denying it, stuffing it, addicting around it, which we live in such a culture that truly supports that. And the beauty is that we're creating a new culture. This new time is about slowing down, deepening. Though everything is quickening, in this new age, all things will be slower, deeper, richer, more enjoyable, more fulfilling, truly gratifying, and incredibly honoring. This is the promise, and this is the sacred union of the masculine part of us with the feminine. And so I just want to invite you to lay down if you're able to, and if not, to close your eyes if you're able to, and if not, to just simply go in a state of rest. Take a few cleansing breaths. Just surrendering, letting go. Just imagine yourself just resting in the bosom and the arms of the divine. This presence that's all loving, all knowing, all caring. That's got you, holding you. And just allow the mind and all of its fantasies and ideas to just quiet. And the heart to rest. There. Just hearing the sound of the divine through the waves. There. As Clarissa Estes Pincole also states, there. Just feel the wave of ease. Peace. Comfort. Nothing to do. Simply be. And just allow the sensation of deep love, the energy of Reiki as it flows through and all the elements. Just allow it to fill you. If you've been caring for others, just allow that sensation of being so cared for. Understood, seen for who you are in your totality. And just allow that nurturance to reweave and strengthen your faith and trust in yourself, the infinite universe, the interconnected web of life and love that holds all things together and regenerates constantly in your body, in your life, and in the world. I wish you a brilliant spring equinox, and a glorious rebirth within your own psyche, a deep awakening of the beauty, mystery, and delight that you are. Satnam, much love, sending light. And so as we close for today, I want to invite you to visit me at sacredventures.com. I look forward to serving you in other ways and in the highest way. We will be starting our actual in-person sacred journeys in the end of March, so you can check out the dates and location for that. I'm excited to be inviting and opening a sacred journey to Maui to the women this year. I've been guided to open up a space, a sacred space for women, and we will be nourishing and luxuriating ourselves so that we can better serve our communities and the men in our worlds. And of course, there's our monthly women's gathering and Reiki circle and classes, always available for one-on-one connections as well, either by phone or in person. So let me know how I can best serve you, and I look forward to our next meeting.